What's up, folks? It's Hotep Jesus. I have a new guest today, a new installment. We got a little bit of a debate going on with Mr. Desmond Orr here. Desmond Orr, thank you and welcome to my channel. How are you?
I'm doing well, brother. Appreciate you inviting me on this forum and get us a chance to hash out a few things.
Uh,
Hotep.
oh, yeah. Give the people a little bit of your background and tell them about yourself.
Again, I appreciate you taking the time, bro. My name is Desmond Orr. I live in Chicago, Illinois, on the famed South Side in the area we call Grand Boulevards of Bronzeville. I've been in Chicago for 28 years, but I'm originally from Detroit. So, as we say, I'm an East Sider for life. That's always home to me. I thank Chicago for all it's done. I'm a father, husband, proud of three great daughters that are all college kids, and I'm a business owner. We have a company called Wells Surface Preparation that I'm the managing director of business development. So that's what I do.
Man, that's awesome. You're a father, you're a husband, you're a business
Yeah,
owner. So you
I am.
Hotep.
I'm, I am. As in that respect, I certainly am, man. And I'm out here humping it on a daily basis, bro.
That's the epitome and the example of what Hotep is. So this just to give people a little bit of background on how we've reached this point. Pretty much I tweet, you pop up. I tweet, you pop up. So I
Yeah.
said, I kind of wanted to end that cycle because people usually end up getting blocked when they do that to me. And you seem like an intelligent brother. So I said, you know what? Let's hash it out mano y mano, live on YouTube for the people, and allow people to get some education here tonight.
And
So,
I appreciate you doing that because it did. It was like a back and forth. My thought, your thought, both choppy, never completed. And when that happens, I think a lot of things get lost in translation.
yeah, I don't debate on Twitter. I don't do the back and forth thing. I noticed that you've done that with my followers and they tag team on you. So,
Oh
um,
man, yes, yeah, and it's funny, man, because as you've seen me, I'm not a big Twitter guy. I'm
ooh,
just really getting into it, uh, and people that know me well know that there's a couple things I've never run from, and a fight's one of them. So I love it when people can blast all they want. I got no problem answering people, but it does get it gets tiresome at points. You just gotta tap out a little bit.
yeah. So, I hate to do a shameless plug here, but since you're new to Twitter, you probably should purchase my book. Twitter marketing, how to build a cult like following. It's great for new Twitter users to understand how to make this thing work for you. But enough
Yes.
of that. Let's hop right into this thing here. I'm going to go ahead and read off the five topics you brought up for me, and then we can start anywhere you want. So number one was the historical case for Hotep Jesus's position, and two was basically how that will shape the future. Three, explain my position and how it will increase economic opportunity. Four, how does my position liberate? And then five, shed light on reconciliation. Actually, you put it in a decent order. So let's just go top to bottom on this thing.
Yes,
So,
that works.
yeah, so you said historical case for my position. In your opinion, or from your viewpoint, what is my position?
Um, I believe that you and I got started with this whole thing as you are a follower or connected to Candace Owens, right, correct?
Oh, yeah, that's my
Yeah,
sister.
yeah, and I take issue with a lot of things that she says. So don't be offended. But I always keep it straight 100. So it was the case for Black people leaving the Democratic Party and joining the Republican Party, and I said, firing back on that is, well, I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. I'm a Black man. And that's the case. I believe that's the case that we're supposed to have. I believe that's the stance we're supposed to take. I believe you're never to deviate from that. And whenever we give an allegiance to a party, I think we're missing the bulk of our worth collectively.
Yeah, I totally agree. And let me just try and clarify my position on going from blue to red.
Okay.
So, first of all, I was never really blue. I was always conservative in my viewpoints. And I do agree on the point where you said, as far as having allegiance, I don't think we need to have blind allegiance to any party. My position as it stands is that currently black people pretty much forfeit their vote to the Democratic Party. And what I'm talking about is being strategic and saying, look, let's vote red at least once in a while to keep both parties guessing, to keep both parties somewhat honest, and have some sort of power in the political arena. Because currently, when you vote blue, you're already pretty much accounted for and you have no voting power. If you switch your vote from blue to red every once in a while, you might have some politicians that have to come up good on their promises. Otherwise, they won't get your vote next time around. But right now, it seems like the black vote, since it's always blue, is taken for granted. What are your thoughts on that?
I understand completely what you're saying, that the black vote has largely been taken for granted. Okay. Now, I'm going to unpack it a little bit and move from the statement you said, or not move from, but kind of expand upon it. You said strategically, you want to take the vote and possibly go from blue to red. And that's the part I would question. It's not the strategy of moving from blue to red. That's a tactic, right? So tactically, we would say, well, I don't need to cast a vote blindly for politicians who aren't serving the need of my community, the need of my need as an individual or as a family member, business owner. That's a tactic. So strategically, we need to find a partners to align with that have community policing in mind, that have economic development in mind, that have access to capital in mind, that have political freedom in mind for Black people in their communities without taking away from the community and leaving it in ruins, which has happened. But that's not just a Democratic problem. That's also a Republican problem. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So it's a tactic, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. It's a tactic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
totally get that.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I appreciate your stance on it being tactically, you can't be taken for granted. That's a bad thing. Strategically, we need to make sure that we are hardened in our strategy of moving forward, economically, politically, educationally. Those are the things. Those are the things that ultimately, I don't mean to skip, but those are the things that are ultimately liberating, in my opinion.
Have you ever been to hotepnation.com?
I have not. I don't think so, at least.
Have you ever read the 10 Hotep commandments?
No, fire them off, bro. I'm interested to hear it, though.
So yeah, so the reason why I asked that question is, just a quick search or even hitting the link in my profile, you would have gotten your answers to our stance outside
Mhm.
of as it exists between the left and the right.
Okay.
And we are in alignment in that we are seeking economic empowerment from within. Currently, we have our own soap manufacturing and distribution company in Lola and Doe, and the people that are connected to that company are able to earn cash, and these people are earning cash every single month, regardless of skin color. So when you talk about economic empowerment, Hotep Nation is already doing that. When we talk about technology, I have an app called Jiffitize, and that app is going to propel us into the world of startups, incubation, and technology, and mobile app technology, and just being able to build a multi-billion-dollar business. Not only that,
Absolutely. Okay.
not only that, the president of Hotep Nation goes by the moniker of Dodubs, and he is the author of Black America Inc., $1 trillion nation. So everything that you're saying, we've published last year, if not the year before, either in blog form or in his book. And, I just find it, um, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to be nice. Um,
Interesting.
no, it's not interesting. I almost feel like you're not doing your due diligence when you address me on Twitter,
Okay. Oh,
because
yeah.
if you would have taken a moment to hit the link in my bio instead of trolling me, you would have
That's interesting.
seen you would have seen
No.
already what our stance is. We
Uh,
have a
hold
whole
on.
Hotep. No,
Hold on.
you can't cut me off. I'm talking. We have a whole Hotep FAQ, frequently asked questions, and
Mm-hmm.
that lives on Google, all the search engines as well. So you could read through and find that some of the things you're saying we've already spoken about and is ingrained in us. I don't have to tweet about that. The people that follow us already know our stance, and I
Mm.
think that you being new to Twitter, you being new to me, you weren't privy to this information. All you see is, me talking about Donald Trump and aligning with conservatives.
So it's interesting that you make that point. I'm going to take you back to about 1974, Detroit, Michigan, and this is about that time when my mother told me. This is very important. So get this. You know two things about people: what they tell you and what they let you see. Okay, what you tell me is that you have an allegiance to a group, a party that I take issue with. What you let me see are your words that reinforce what I've seen. Now, if you would like to ask me to drill down on things that you as a group have, then you as an individual need to be more interesting, need to be more drilled down upon. Right now, what you're doing are things that will block me from being interested in what you say and do, because what you're saying are things that I find to be ridiculous. Again, you can't say things like Paul Robeson was a communist. It's ridiculous. When you say that, that's outside of what I would believe to be a black, progressive thinking individual that's interested in furthering our own economic and political independence. See, those things that I just mentioned are more in line with what we call black nationalism. And what you're doing is saying things that are opposed to that. But if you'd like me to read stuff about you, I got no problem with that. It's not about doing due diligence. This is about me telling you my position. I don't need to do diligence myself. That's for you to do on me if you want to know about me.
Yeah, so two parts to that. The first part, you basically said I should probably like more try to cater my message to you, or I should be
No,
what?
no,
Yeah, explain that.
your message should be what you are. What you do on Twitter may be different. So here's the thing we should do. Let's separate the two. You may have an overall agenda, and I don't take issue with it because I don't know it. Okay. You on Twitter are a personality that says and does things that are a bit hyperbolic. You sell hyperbole on Twitter. That doesn't mean that's what you are. But the reason that you and I are sitting in front of these screens today is based on your selling of hyperbole. And that's what we're addressing. So, and you said it before, and I want to make sure that we kind of address this right now. You first started calling me a leftist, which is ridiculous. Then you called me a progressive. Well, okay. But lastly, you're calling me a troll. I don't know what that necessarily means, but here's the deal. If I see something and I go, well, that's stupid, I'm going to say something about it. If I see something, I go, well, that's pretty cool, I'll say something about it. So, but again, this whole conversation started based on you saying, leave Democrats, be Republicans. You didn't say it the way you meant it, but what you said, I took issue with. And I said, I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. What did I say I am?
I don't
Do you
remember.
recall?
No.
A black man. So look at the screen, a black man. So I'm going to take you back to 1965 when Muhammad Ali fought Ernie Terrell. And every time he hit him, bang, he would say, what's my name? Because he kept calling him Cassius Clay. So what's my name? Bam, it's not Democrat. What's my name? Bam, it's not Republican. It's black man. What's my name? Bam, it's not leftist. It's black man. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you said that I should be what we are, or I should speak what we are on Twitter, and I boldly disagree. You see, when you create a mission statement, there are many ways to reach the goal. Now, Hotep Nation has a mission, and we're very honest in that mission. All of my followers that happen to be white are privy to this information as well. They know that we're about black empowerment and doing for black people, and many of us would call us black nationalists. I would disagree with that. I don't like the term black nationalist, but I would be described as a black nationalist, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
No, I'm telling you that's what they do. That's what they call me. They call me a black nationalist.
Who are they?
The white following. Like
Well,
what I'm trying to say here is that my white followers who are white people know me better than you do, because they've
Well,
taken the time out to
that's
listen.
reason, but
But
that's
wait, don't cut,
reasonable, bro.
but don't cut me off when I'm talking.
Well, I'm not
But
cutting you off. I don't know that you're speaking and you're not done. So, well, let's be polite. Let's be civil. So, if you found something I just said to be
I'm you just
interruptive,
you're
no,
still
my
taking
bad.
my time.
You got, yeah. Hey, you can go ahead. Be at Maxine Waters. Take back your time. Go ahead. Reclaim it.
So yeah, so when we look at the mission, and the mission comes with a goal, how
Hmm.
you see how we should get to that goal is not how I see how we should get to that goal. The My strategy is very unorthodox, and not many people are going to understand it, and I would believe that it's the people that were alive to see the Muhammad Ali fights. They're not going to understand me. You guys are kind of antiquated, and you're not hip to the internet, which is why when I call you an internet troll, you're not sure that you're trolling, but you are trolling. You see, what happens is when somebody has a voice on Twitter and you consistently appear in their mentions over and over and over and over again. And if we want, we can go do a search on Twitter, which will show the numerous tweets I'm inundated with from you, and you going back and forth with my followers. And I never go back and forth with you because I just don't have that kind of time. I don't have that leisure. But that would be classified as an internet troll. If you don't want to be classified as an internet troll, you should probably reclaim your time, build your own website, your own empire, and then focus on that. You see, when people on
Mm.
Twitter have differing opinions, I don't camp out in their mentions and wait for them to tweet. When I tweet, you're like the first one that responds, and I'm just like, yo, what
Cause
do you
you
like?
show up
Like,
on my timeline. What are you serious right now? So if you
you cut me
extend,
off again.
I
So
well, I'm going to. If you extend logically what you just said, just extend it logically for a person that is, as I believe you just said, antiquated as a joke. That means I don't build a big following. It's not important to me. The real world is important to me, much more. But what I do have is a small sampling. So you keep showing up because of your frequency. So when I see it, I respond. You're probably the most frequent person that I see. But you can say I don't follow that many things that post often. So it's not about looking for you, bruh. That's silly. It's because I see it. So, but here's the thing that you're doing right now that I'd like you to really think about before you continue to press. I'm not attacking you. There is no reason to say troll or not. As I said, black man, not a troll. Black man, not a Democrat. Black man, not a Republican. So if you about this Hotep thing, stop. Move forward. Don't be silly. Let's keep going.
yeah, so like I said, you're a bit antiquated, so you don't understand the internet. But you followed me. You put me on your timeline. I didn't ask you to be there. I don't even follow
That's
you. You
that's
followed
correct.
me.
You shouldn't
So
follow
if
me.
I, so if you have all these issues with me, I don't understand why you follow me. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to the next topic. Um, how will it shape the future? How will my position shape the future? And I think I already touched on that, where I basically said we have to keep the powers that be guessing by moving the vote from left to right whenever we see fit. I would love to see us, maybe go 80% in one state to the right, and then maybe in another state where we might have a black guy who's on the bill and he's on the left, so 80% that way. But I'd like to see the vote sway so we can start having some political power out here. My position as Hotep is all about building economic power base. So the future is pretty much, if you want to get an example of it, you could probably look at, I don't know, the Indians that come here and set up shop and own a whole entire street of businesses. But
Do you know how that happens, though, bro? If you don't mind me asking you.
so I'm going to finish talking and then you can talk. So when you said, like I'm online and your stuff is in, real world and mine is online. Well, again, that's what I mean by you're a bit antiquated, because I don't think the older generation knows the power of the internet. So I prefer to do my thing online. If you prefer to do your thing offline, that's great.
Right.
I think that if we work together, that we can do some great things for our people, because
Yes.
currently I'm sure my impressions are way over 10 million per week. So I do reach a large audience in the street. If I was to get up on my soapbox on 125th Street in Harlem, I'm going to reach a handful of people. I'd be lucky if I reached the ears of 100, let alone
Right.
a few million. So I think that's the power of the internet we have to pay attention to. But to shape the future is all about having the economic base. And that's what
Hmm.
I'm here for. And I don't see the economic base truly being brick and mortar. Like I said, I have the app Jivitize. I see the future as more being technology and having valuable web properties so we can have unicorns. And with those unicorns, we can really start to make change.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the bullet points, but that you said a lot without saying anything. So, but I will go back and address a couple of points. One, you talked about black people being more like the Indians, and I assume you mean the people from India in Asia. And I asked you, do you know how that happens? Do you understand how the Indians have gotten here and had an economic power base? Do you understand that at all?
No, I don't. School me.
So it's there's something called EB5. That's E as in Edward, B as in boy, the number five. So EB5 allows people from foreigners, primarily the Indians and Chinese, to invest into this country. You officially, or essentially, I should say, get to buy green card status. So you have to invest in companies that are going to employ X number of people in order to get what's called EB5 funding or EB5 financing. So when I told you that I'm a partner in a construction company, I didn't tell you my further backgrounds. I spent 15 years in investment banking, sales, and trading, the last 2 years in private equity. So my understanding of brick and mortar, my understanding of internet-based companies, my understanding of financing them runs deep. I appreciate you with the quick jabs and the antiquation and things of that nature, but it's silly. I appreciate you having the reach that you have with people. The reason that you and I are having this conversation right now is to try to build a bridge, not set up a wall. That was a point for me. But if you want to go there, we can go. As I told you every time we text, I stay ready. I don't waste time getting ready. So if that's what you want to do, let's get it. But if you want to figure out a way how I can help you, you can help me. We can figure out a way to make things better for people that look, act, and live like us. Let's get that. If not, knuckle up. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think that the way you go about it is the issue I have. So I have my platform that I built on Twitter, and
Mm-hmm.
my and the web property that all the Hoteps own and have equity in hotepnation.com. Like, we built this from the ground up. When Black Lives Matter was here dragging the Hotep name through the ground like some sort of pejorative, we were the ones that reclaimed that. We were the ones that were speaking up for the alternative voice instead of the consistent one we get from the left. So we built this thing from the ground up, right? So
Hold on, wait. I don't mean to cut you off, but I didn't really understand you when you say that. So Black Lives Matter. That's the left, right? That's what you're saying. I mean left, correct? Yes.
yeah,
And they were dragging your name, the name Hotep, and
the
saying that and
the
making it bad.
when we were talking about economic empowerment, when Mike Brown got
Mm-hmm.
shot, Trayvon Martin got shot, people were not bringing up solutions. We said the solutions to this is to build an economic power base. And when we said so, people said that we were capitalists and we were Hotep, and they were using Hotep as a pejorative. And sparingly, you can still see that happen today. But we're the ones that took the term Hotep and reclaimed it, and made
Okay,
it so that when people see it, it means something other than what they tried to make it seem, right?
I understand that then. Okay, so if
Okay.
they said you're a
So
capitalist, would
so
neoliberalism be closer to something that you would say is your founding or no?
no. So my issue with you, like, so when we say that we could work together, absolutely we could work together. The problem becomes that Hotep Jesus has created a brand, he has created a platform, and every time I tweet, it seems like you just want to tear it down. So it's not that I
Oh, I
have
understand you. Yeah, yeah.
it's not
Now I
it's
understand you.
not it's not that I have a problem with you. You can
Mm-hmm.
say whatever you want to say on your digital soapbox. It's just that when I say what I got to say, you like, I think today I said something about, the 400 million that Hillary Clinton washed for the Russians, and you had something to say, and I'm just
Like, who
like,
cares?
Yeah, like so I understand maybe you don't care, but again, I'm speaking to my audience and the audience that I've cultivated. I'm not speaking to, the old black guy that saw Muhammad Ali fight. You're not you're not
Wait a second.
you're not my audience.
Did you say the old black guy that, so can you see my t-shirt? You see that? Do you know who that
You
is?
still cutting me off while I'm talking, right?
You know who that is?
So this is the problem when two black minds come together and it's time to speak. It seems like it's really hard to have conversation because we consistently cut each other off. You can hear it a lot on podcasts. You can hear it a lot in the streets. We don't let each other talk and say everything we mean, and it seems like you have that same bad habit too. So again, I just like to ask you to curb that while I'm speaking and making my points. Um, so, if we are going to have this conversation, let's do that. Let's just be respectful. But what I'm saying is, I want to work with guys like you who have the experience, who have the history, who have the knowledge, things that I don't have. You're on the street, you got your construction business going, and that's great. And I live in the digital world, and we should meet in the middle. I just don't think that it's fair for you to consistently attack my platform when you could just DM me and we could just have a conversation offline. I've never turned down anybody from having a phone call offline. Did we lose you there, Desmond? I think we what's up, people? It looks like we lost Desmond. Hopefully he comes back. He hasn't logged off. It looks like his camera just shut off. It looks like Desmond has left the call. What do you guys think? I'm gonna wait around maybe like 5 minutes or so. I think I made him mad. I think I pissed him off. What is still 2,500? Yeah, Woke is still here. Um, but yeah, I think this is the problem when black minds sit down and speak. Emotions, um, emotions run deep. I don't know his background. I don't want to talk about his background, but Desmond, you're there.
I'm back. The old antiquated guy got kicked offline somehow.
Oh wow,
So
damn.
no jokes about being old, and I already heard you.
Maybe your Wi-Fi old too.
Wow, you got jokes. And so wait, but you didn't hear. I didn't. We lost each other.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
I'll
trying to cut you
summarize.
off. Go ahead.
I'll
Go ahead.
summarize really fast what I said.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm saying is this:
Mhm.
if two black minds are gonna meet, let's meet and let's talk. I've never turned down a discussion from anybody ever. I give you my telephone number. We can talk offline. But when you consistently attack me online and you're in my mentions and you're just, always attacking, and it's like you don't even find anything good that I have. You never checked out my website or anything. It's just like I don't think you gave a fair assessment to anything that I've done, and that's the part that I think is unfair.
And that's probably reasonable because I don't. Well, let's go back to this. Let's separate the two. Let's separate because that's fair. Hotep Nation versus what I see on Twitter. What I see on Twitter is not representative of Hotep Nation. But if you notice, if I have something to say
No,
to you
what you see from Hotep Jesus might not be.
what did I just say? What did I say?
You said Hotep Nation.
My bad. Yes, I'm sorry. Hotep Jesus, Hotep Nation. So, but if you notice, when I've had something to say to you that I thought was important, I would send you an email. I mean, I would inbox you. Like you were talking about black banks at one point, and I didn't put that on Twitter. I inboxed you. Do you recall that or no? Because
I do.
I think Twitter stuff is. I actually think it's important on a level to have public discourse. I mean, we should on some level. But if it's something important, I'll inbox you, or I'll be like, "Hey, man, here's what I really think about X." I mean, because at a point, getting the eyeballs to your stuff, assuming that what you're saying holds true, that we're building a base economically, politically, and we're about uplifting and building and owning our communities. then all the eyeballs possible is important. That's in my opinion. So I'm not knocking you for that. But what I do want to go back and say is this: when we talk about the left and the right, and the Democrats, Republican, blue, red, however you'd like to color it, no pun intended, I don't know that it's important that it be different parties. It just needs to be, we need to send our vote and have it be platform building, right? So you can't be a Republican that's putting together a platform that says, I'm pro-life, and pro-life means that you have no choice. And then to have somebody come back and say, well, there's all these black babies that are aborted. Because the answer to that is, well, it's about women's health, and they need to have women's health options. So what we're supposed to do is split the two and say, wait, there needs to be comprehensive women's health issues that we address on a day in and day out basis. And we also need to address using abortion as a form of birth control. And we need to make sure that those two things are separated. And our Black voice can help do that. Our Black voice can make it so that we talk about people that are on welfare or that need assistance in order to get into the job market, that we do those things rather than condemn anyone that is a part of SNAP. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of things have been and they get colored the wrong way or labeled the wrong way. And we can help unpack that because we do have, I believe, a powerful voice.
Yeah, so let me just clarify and say that the views of Hotep Jesus does not speak for the views of the entire Hotep or Hotep Nation. And the goals of Hotep Nation are completely different from my own personal goals. My own personal goals are to be a politician. I want to be in politics because I think that politics need an honest guy in there. I am not going to run under the blue flag. I will run under the red flag. That is a personal choice. And I'm not saying that the choices I make are the choices for the entire Black community as a whole. I think the Black community as a whole does not need to do exactly what Hotep Jesus is doing.
Of course
But
not.
when Hotep Jesus is tweeting, I'm tweeting for myself and not the whole Black community. It's very rare where I say something for the whole Black community. I don't even talk about the Black community that much because it's just not in my mind. The Black community and what I've set up is already in motion. I don't have to talk about it. It's just already, it happens on its own, So for me, I personally am going to be a conservative. I am personally going to register as a Republican, and I am personally going to be running for Congress under the red flag. And that's what I'm going to do personally. And if people have opinions, I'm here to hear them. But I'm going to make the decisions I make regardless.
As well, you should. But now, let's not make sure that we don't use contradictory terms, right? If you're going to claim that your Hotep Jesus is you and speaks for you, then let's not put Hotep Nation on top of that and suggest that I am and saying anything negative about Hotep Nation, because I am not. I do not know them. There's no reason to read Hotep Nation doctrine if all I'm responding to is Hotep Jesus. And you have just said there's a clear separation between the two. I'm not knocking you, bro. I'm not attacking you. I am saying that, hey, wait, hold on. Let's make sure we frame things correctly. That's what I'm saying. Make sense?
Absolutely. So let's move on to the last 2 points here so we can start to wrap up. You said, how does my position liberate? So first of all, I've said this many times that Black people don't need liberation. Like,
blessed am I. Okay. There you go.
Liberate, like liberate from what? We're free. What do we need liberation from?
Like, you asking me to clarify that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we need liberation from are being held captive, as you would say, to a particular party, right? And their platform isn't built to take shots at or to deal with the individual issues that we may have. Now, that may be better education systems in our neighborhoods. That may be more community policing in our neighborhoods. That may be having access to capital, entrepreneurial workshops, mentoring programs in our neighborhoods. Those are things that are liberating. Now, as I understand you to have said, that's something that Hotep Nation speaks to. Hotep Jesus himself, that I know of, hasn't said those things. Now, is that something that is transferable from one to the other, or no?
I guess I don't call it liberation. The only thing I think people need to liberate themselves from is ignorance and the TV. You know, that's the only thing I think people are just locked into. But I don't use the word liberation, and I don't use the word liberate. That's
What
something I feel is antiquated. It's something we picked up from the 50s and 60s, and we're still repeating when we are free. And I feel like it's kind of counterproductive and counterintuitive to continue to say we need to be liberated. It's almost as if we're subconsciously saying that we're imprisoned. And I don't believe we should be going around telling people we're imprisoned.
So if you believe, for example, that the Democrats have a locked minds of black voters, you believe that, right?
Yes.
So you'd like them to be liberated from that mindset, right?
Yes.
Thank you. So now you understand the use of the word. Make
Okay.
sense?
Awesome. Cool. Let's go on to the next point. The last point. You said shed light on reconciliation. What do you mean by reconciliation?
Remember, I said, are you familiar with like the Truth and from South Africa and how they went through and dealt with coming out of apartheid to going into free elections and dealing with black people actually having access to the political system and being free within their own country. So I was asking you, do you think anything along those lines is necessary in America? Do we need to address the systemic problems that have existed based on race in order to move things forward?
I don't know. I don't really care. Um, it's not on my roadmap. It's not on my to do list. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if it's on other people's to do list, if it's on other black people's to do list, then sure, go ahead, make that a part of your work. But Hotep Nation, nah, we're not really concerned with the sorries and the admit that you did this to us. And you know, I feel like that's something that a woman or a child would do. You know, I don't think that's a man's work.
Whoa. So, well, I don't know that masculinity has a monopoly on particular stance, nor does femininity for that matter. What I'm saying is that there needs to be accountability for things and we have to address them. So for example, a part of reconciliation would be, well, what do we do about opportunities for education and access? Like, well, there's probably a way to figure out some way that people who are of African descent have access because they've been denied access for so long. You don't need to say I'm sorry to reconcile. You need to be a good faith actor. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I got a super chat here from Trues. Thank you, Trues, for the super chat. You are the man. Don't take offense to this, Desmond. I'd have to read the comment. He says, "Hey, old guy, South Africa is a crap hole and it's about to go into civil war." So that's Trues. That's his comment.
Well,
Um,
as it certainly is.
so let me just clarify, you know, the whole gender thing and what I talked about. But you know, I feel like when you talk about reconciliation, that's like an emotional conversation. And you know, I'm all
Mm,
about practicality. I don't really care about the emotional conversation and like white people trying to apologize for anything like that. Like I don't really care about that. You know, we talk about like, you
no,
know, asking the white system for education. I'm not really concerned with that. I'm more
I'm
concerned
neither.
with I'm more concerned with just building our own educational institutions. We have the capital to do it. Let's just take the time and the capital and do it. But I'm not here to ask white people for anything.
Well, nor should you be. But let's, for example, I mean, I'm not sure that you're understanding the entire economic landscape. Okay. So, for example, if I pay taxes, and I do, and I assume you do as well, or people that are listening to or chiming in on this, if you give me the opportunity to direct my tax dollars to help empower my community, that would be part of reconciliation fixing a systemic issue. See, these are things that I don't know that you ever unpack or that you understand. There's no knock on you. I understand that important.
Yeah, I totally
Taxation
yeah.
is very important.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I feel like that's a policy issue and not really like a party issue, right? You're talking about a particular policy, like where do our taxes go? That's a big problem. Cardi B talked about that. Where are my taxes going to? A lot of our taxes are going to wars. I don't support these wars, but my money goes there. So I think that's definitely a talk we need to have. This is why I want to be in Congress. Real
Hold on one
quick, we
second.
got another super chat
Hey, please get off
from
of Wi-Fi. You're killing me.
Kumar 11281. He said, "Free Bobby Shmurda and resurrect Bin Laden." Shout out to Bobby Shmurda and free Bobby Shmurda. I could definitely agree with you on that, man. Thanks for the super chat.
So yeah, man. I mean, I think the things that are kind of important here are I think you've made some key distinctions. Hotep Nation, Hotep Jesus. What the nation stands for, what Jesus. I mean, that sounds weird to say. Can I just say Jesus or something?
Sure, we can say Jesus.
What he as an individual seeks to do. It appears that you're under that umbrella, but you do have some rather distinct individual pieces for yourself. Fair? Fair to say?
That's fair.
Okay. That's what I make sure I understand them.
Yeah. So we're about to wrap up here. Any final closing thoughts or questions for me?
What's my name?
Desmond Orr.
Black man. Not leftist, right?
Your name
Don't forget that. It is Desmond.
Your name is
it is
Desmond Orr, the faithful
Correct.
troll.
Wow, that's aggressive, Jesus. That's very aggressive.
Hey, it's that until we can get you to calm down in my mentions.
I'll tell you what. Stop parroting white people bullshit, and I make sure that I don't say stuff about you.
Yeah, so
deal.
Yeah, so I'm not going to change anything I do just because one old guy wants me to. It's not going to happen.
One really old guy, but a smart old guy. I'm only 51. That's not old. So
I know.
I'm
just busting your balls, man. I'm just busting your balls, man.
Come on, bro.
I'm just being a douche.
Yeah, you are. Little bit. No, but you know what, dude? This has been productive. I think it kind of helps me to kind of understand a little bit more about you as an individual. What I will tell you is this: I'm interested to see some more of the things that the nation speaks about, because it sounds like
you have to follow the president of Hotep Nation, Doe Dubes. If you want your black empowerment talk, follow Doe Dubes. Hotep Jesus has retired from that lane. I don't do that anymore.
What's it? Will you send it to me?
I'll send you his name. Send you his name in the DM. His name is Doe Dubes. Very, very strong, articulate, intelligent, ambitious brother. He is at the helm of Hotep Nation. There's a reason why I'm not the leader of the Hotep Nation, and he is. So, go by his word of what Hotep is and not what Hotep Jesus says it is. And for everybody in the chat, Lola and Doe soaps are for sale. Make sure you visit lolaanddoe.com, DOE.
Got you, bro. All right, man. It was a pleasure speaking with you. It's good to get to catch up a little bit like this. I think I got a little bit better understanding of you, and hopefully you have a little better understanding of me.
So are you going to stop trolling?
I'm going to answer you if you say something I take issue with. Is that called trolling?
Yeah, you're going to keep trolling.
Well, hey, give me something. Put something on so I can say something good. Now you understand what I will gladly champion. So say something that I'll champion rather than, saying good stuff about Donald Trump. And Candace Owens is boo hiss. She gets the thumbs down.
I'm rocking with Candace Owens. It's Trump train all the way through 2020. We got the red flag high in the sky. You dig what I'm saying? It's MAGA. It's MAGA conservative all the way, baby.
Right now, Malcolm X is turning over in his grave. He would be so disappointed in you.
Yo, rest in peace to Malcolm X. If he's disappointed in me, I'm sorry, but Hotep Jesus is a different breed, man. It's a new day and it's a new age, and we're gonna change the rules.
Well, let's hopefully change them for the better, bro. All right, boy, be easy. Don't forget to send me that.
Definitely will.
All right, 1.